So, the typewriter soldering wasn't a challenge enough for you. We're going to have to do a Kolibri job now. So we're going to take apart a Kolibri. Well, for the most part, I kind of already started it. I should have done the full thing, but I thought at the last minute, hey, I should videotape this because getting a Kolibri out of its shell is not the easiest thing to do, and a lot of them have damage. Just the paint they used on these Kolibris back in the day are just not meant to handle the test of time. They flake off and it falls off easily. But the things that I took apart on the back here are pretty self-explanatory. There's a back panel that has 4 screws, and that comes off pretty easily. Getting the platen out, there's a couple of screws you can see easily on the platen, and pulling the rod out with the rod here, pulling the rod out of the right side with the lever attached is the best way to go about it, I found, because to get this lever back in, you have to do all sorts of weird maneuvers because they didn't put like a notched cutout hole for this handle. So you have to put it in upside down and flip it around and do all sorts of things. So I just kind of leave that in place, and I don't even bother taking that off there because, yeah, it's just too much of a pain. And then getting these back in, it's one of the hardest platens to install, just because you have to get all of these levers correct in their right position, and everything moves around. And then on the left side, with the platen knob, the gear drive system, and then the line selector pawl, it's all loose, so you kind of have to fit that in there as one and balance on your head while you slide it in. So bottom line, guys, the Kolibri, it's not a user-friendly machine to take apart and to tinker with. So I thought I would do a little bit what I can. Like I said, I kind of jumped the gun. I didn't plan on recording a video. Once the platen is out, the paper tray comes out and the feed rollers come out by itself. And then to get this part out, which you wouldn't have to do normally if you were just taking the shell off to do like a full clean or something. But if you're doing a full repaint, this is a repaint I already did, and then somebody sold it to somebody and now they wanted a different color, and I did the color match spacebar. I mean, it's a great typewriter. They just want it custom painted to their liking. And to get this eraser table off, there's a little screw right here, a set screw. You can see it, and that's all it is for that. You just unscrew that, and then this whole thing comes off along with the paper scale, and then you could put it all back together that way. Now the fun and tricky part, because the way the Kolibri is designed is it's in 2 different pieces. This piece is different from this piece, and when you take it out, it doesn't come out as one piece. It comes out in 2, and it's fairly straightforward once you get inside the guts and see. Let's go ahead and pull the covers off here. I mean, the Kolibri is just a weird, it's a great machine, don't get me wrong, it's great, but it is terribly difficult for what it is. So I'll get what I can on camera here with the bad camera angle. You guys are used to it by now. Maybe one day I can afford a space with an overhead camera, but right now I just don't have the space for it. So pull the feet off. That takes, you don't have to take all the feet off to pull this off. You can just loosen this first screw over here, and that'll let you gain access to the workings. So we are going to carefully find a spot for these feet. Ziploc the baggie, so I don't have any more Kolibri parts. My last Kolibri parts machine is gone. All right, so where are we? We are underneath a Kolibri, and the first thing you have to do, oh, sorry, cat's fighting at the back door. Hold on, guys. I gotta get a cat. Okay, I'm back. The cats were fighting it out. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull this other foot just in case the body hangs up on it, which I don't think it will. But pull the foot, pull the foot. Normally I have the back door open so the animals can run freely in and out, but I live really close to a busy road. You'll hear the road noise, so I try to keep it closed when I'm recording. So we have to compromise between the loudness of the road noise versus the loudness of the animals. All right, now feet are off. One of the more tricky parts of this procedure is the spacebar setup, because the spacebar setup is sprung. Once I get these spacebar screws out, I'll go ahead and show you the inside of the spacebar. Pick you up here, trying to do a little less moving around so you guys don't get seasick on the shaky cam. Right here, there's springs mounted. You can see I'm going to move the spacebar, and you can look right here. There's springs right there on either side. Right there too. And those are mounted to the body, and that's what keeps the spacebar going up and down. So to pull the shell, you really do have to take off those springs. I'm going to move these screws into the compartments. Compartmentalize the screws. Some of these other out of the way. I'm done with these knobby guys in the bag. Okay, we had to do some housework. So we're going to take a spring hook tool. You guys have seen lots of spring hook tools in this business before. And then we're going to reach into here. We're going to pop these springs off. There we go. Now we have the springs free from the space bar. There will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mounting screws on the Kolibri body that go one right here, one right here, one right here, and then the same on the opposite side. And you can see those are big giant screws into the cast body, so you can't really mistake where those go or what they are. Get you back into a good angle, and we'll get to dismantling. You know, we might as well, while we're here, because one of these are in the way, you're going to have to take off the ribbon reverse switch, because it's mounted to the body as well, and it's also right here next to this rear screw. So we'll go ahead and we'll take this screw off, and then with this ribbon reverse guy, you can either leave it in the machine or you can pull it off. The springs are pretty closed up on there, so I don't have to worry about that falling off. And I'm not taking this out of the house. I'm just going to be leaving it as it is once I pull the body off. So onto the body mounts. Pull the one. Sorry again, in the camera way again. I got to use lifting my arms up with the soldering job. It's difficult. You guys wanted to see me actually flux and solder the thing, but that's the easy part. All you do is you go boop, 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 and you tap the thing to the thing, and the solder goes. It's the setup that's the hard part. Touching a stick of solder to a hot piece of metal isn't difficult. But let's get our magnets. Large, small, medium, medium. So the two large screws, body screws, go in the very front opening, and The rest of the sizes are all the same. They go on the rear part of the body. Compartmentalize those. I think that's it for the body portion. I think right now we would be able to pull, yeah, the body's, I'm pushing through the bottom here. You can see I'm raising the typewriter and I'm pushing the machine up, and it's moving. But if you look close to this side right here, this is the actuator for the shift lever, and it goes all the way under. It goes from here, under this, around, and it connects to the shift mechanism on the carriage. And then there's one on this side too, and this side has a special spring-loaded guy. And this is the tricky part of these machines, and it's the fairly odd part of these machines, because I haven't ran into any other typewriters that use this kind of split carriage system. So now that we've got the body mounts loose, we're gonna have to go to the top side, slide it over, and then the carriage itself has two body screws. So we're going to take this screw off of there, and then this one in the back. Hopefully we can get to it. We can get to it through here. Yep, it's at a weird angle. So there's the carriage off, and then on the opposite side, the carriage will have two screws. Pull that. And we'll compartmentalize these into our container. Now everything should be good to come out of this machine. We could probably pull the carriage first through the top. Yeah, that's what I'll do. You'll see now that the carriage is off, you can kind of start to unhinge it through its guys. And it's going to be stuck on a couple places, okay? It has a linkage for the ribbon lifter. Let's see if we can get it upside down and feed this out at the same time. We're going to lift the body up and out, like so. And we can feed the carriage arms out. Get out of here, buddy. You can see how this becomes a whole thing. The carriage is released. We've got this down here. You can see this bar. It's right where my finger is. Okay, you don't want to bend that. You don't want to put too much weight on it, but it's the linkage that connects the ribbon lifter. So you want to manipulate this part of the body that is attached. This linkage, it's kind of a weird feed-in style linkage, and it's a pain in the butt. Let's see if I can get it in here. Like I said, the Kolibri is not super fun. And then here's part of the carriage that fell off because, yeah, Kolibri did it that way. There we go. There's that, and then there's that. So now that everything is poured, literally poured out of this typewriter, and you have to try to remember how to put it all back together. You got your ribbon lifter dangling there. You got your ribbon reverse dangling there. And you don't want to lose any of this stuff. We're just going to go ahead and set this off to the side for now. These are not my favorite machines to work on because they're just so tiny and they're so complex beyond what is needed. Here's the shift arms that mount the rear of the carriage. You'll see that it goes right here. I think I even have this on the wrong side. I think this is this side. Okay, so one. How does it go? They have pins. That's good. You can pin them into the machine, and then there will be a guide pin in the back here, like this. That goes onto the rail. This goes into the carriage base, and then this feeds up through to those levers that connect to the shift levers, the shift buttons. And when you push, it does that, but this would be bolted in, and it's cantilevered and it's smooth, but boy, it's complex, and it's easy to get these all twisted up and turned around. And to get it all back together, and you have to feed all that stuff in there, but you have to connect that ribbon lifter wire, or that ribbon lifter link that's sitting right here. You have to do that all at the same time, and so the carriage will be like, it's one of those jobs. I've done it a lot of times, and I don't look forward to doing it. It's way complicated. But this is a Kolibri disassembled and waiting for its body to come back. So we'll go ahead and get this custom painted for the customer, and then maybe we will show you the install video. Because like I said in my last video, that taking things apart is the easy part, because you can just kind of wiggle and jiggle and let things fall away. As it's putting everything back and sliding it in. That's the true test of patience. So I will probably get that install videotape, so that way you guys can see how this all goes back together, because it goes up and around and over and through. It is not for the faint of heart. So Kolibri is on the books for a little series. We'll get those up for you guys. Thank you very much for watching, and we will talk to you later.